Hey there, welcome back. Once again, it's time for the Golden Age of DC Comics 365 Days, where I take this awesome coffee table book that I got from one of my best friends about 2 decades ago, and which has been surfing on every single one of my coffee tables ever since. I'm going to use this book for its intended purpose, a page a day, 365. We're going to be talking about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern to find out who and what we're talking about when we turn the page. So let's turn that page. And before we do, sometimes I hit this, sometimes I don't. I don't want to get too repetitive, but every comic book could be a first issue for a new reader. So let me open by saying that the Golden Age of DC Comics runs from 1938 to 1955. I also like to push that back just a little bit to about 1931, because that's when The Shadow and Dick Tracy came about, and all that led up to Timely Comics, which became Marvel Comics, to do their thing with Captain America and Namor the Submariner, and then also at what became DC Comics with Action Comics in 1938, Detective Comics 27 in 1939, and so the Golden Age of Comics from about 1931, in my humble opinion, DC in particular from 1938 until 1955. The Silver Age begins in 1956 and lasts until about 1974. I'm a Bronze Age baby. So I guess that the Bronze Age begins about 1974 with the death of Gwen Stacy. I also see other contributing factors such as Black Manta killing Aquababy, Arthur Curry Jr. I see Flash killing Reverse Flash, something that never happened. Heroes don't kill, And also the creation of Firestorm, who I really feel in spirit is the last Silver Age hero. Just the way he's done. I mean, from costume to power set and to everything about Firestorm to me says, he's like the last Silver Age hero. And the Bronze Age. So the Bronze Age starts about the early 70s till about when? The 1990s in Image Comics, and the speculator market imploded. You tell me. I want to have this conversation, and this is why I have talks about comic books. I love talking about comic books. And if you love talking about comic books, you've come to the right place. And so today is March 5th, and let's see, art by E. Hibbard, story by Gardner Fox, and this is from Flash Comics number 3, March of 1940. This is Jay Garrick, the Golden Age Flash. He wore blue pants. He had a red shirt with a giant bisected thunderbolt that ran across his chest on a bias. He wore a helmet that resembles Mercury, the god. That's the Roman god of speed, the messenger, and we have a clipped off voice balloon up here, and what we have down here are speed lines, and they're meant to to evoke a sense of super speed, which is the Flash's superpower. And March 5th, here we go. Cartoonists use the term speed lines to describe those strokes of ink streaming out behind the Flash and other quick characters as they whiz across the comic book page. Here, the character himself is composed entirely of speed lines, a somewhat surreal image suggesting that he has attained the speed of light and maybe vanishing into another dimension. Actually, he's just trying to get across town during rush hour. Wah, 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 wah. All right. But that's funny about attaining the speed of light and vanishing into another dimension, because that is what will become the Flash's power. The Silver Age Flash, Barry Allen, meets the Golden Age Flash, and it invents the multiverse. I have to look it up real quick. I know it's issue 123 of something. It's called The Flash of Two Worlds. It's a book by Gardner Fox, the person who wrote this. It's from Flash Comics. Flash issue number 123 from September of 1961, and introduces Earth 2. And so Barry Allen, the Silver Age Flash, and it's interesting because the Flash kept its numeration from its first volume. There's no way you would have got 123 issues of the Flash from 1956 until 1961. That would take you 10 years at an issue per month. You know what I mean? But yeah, so Barry Allen literally does that. He vibrates into another dimension, which he finds another Earth, and he finds another Flash who has a similar power set, but is dressed differently. And he doesn't protect Keystone City; he protects Fawcett City, and things. Oh, is it Fawcett City? I'm not sure. Keystone City, and Central City. No, he goes from Central City to Keystone City, where Golden Age Jay Garrick lives, and but yeah, this introduced the ability for the Flash to transcend dimensions through a vibration. Is the fulcrum of the entire multiverse. Yeah, so it introduced two heroes, and also the thing was that Barry Allen grew up reading Flash comic books. So for him, Jay Garrick was a comic book character, and he got the idea to become the Flash to honor that. And it's a really interesting meta stuff. Before we had the terminology from meta, and but yeah, it's like this is where it came up with multiverse. So and the thing about Speed Force, that doesn't come up until like the 1990s, where in the Wally West volume of the Flash, when Wally West he literally fulfills the Squire becoming the Knight. Barry Allen dies in Crisis on Infinite Earths in 1985, or supposedly dies. There always was a trapdoor to bring him back in the story, but he had the appearances of being dead. He was mostly dead, like Wesley. Wesley. He was in the Speed Force. Yeah, and the Speed Force was where the Flashes get their power. And it's but that was a modern age conceit. So there we go. We got speed lines, and it shows quickness. And this is been talking about the Flash. I love the Flash. I read every issue of the Flash, Wally West's Flash, twice. Oh man, yeah, Flash is just one of my just all-time favorite characters, and it was always fun to see Jay Garrick Flash before Crisis on Infinite Earths in '85. As a kid, growing up reading DC Comics, it was always a treat because we knew what I knew what Earth 2 was, and Earth 2 had the older heroes that had the slightly different costumes. I loved Alan Scott's red shirt with the purple pants. I thought that was so really interesting, and I loved Silver Age Green Lantern as well, and that comes from Super Friends, and but yeah, so yeah, this is the Flash, and it invented the multiverse that we're all experiencing, from Spider-Man and his Spider-Verse animated, and then No Way Home, to Doctor Strange's Multiverse of Madness, to WandaVision tinkering with the multiverse. It's multiverse. It's a comic book literary tool. It's kind of overused, but it waxes and it wanes. It comes back and forth. Crisis on Infinite Earths destroyed the multiverse and made one Earth and new stories. And then, after that cycle was completed 20 years later, they brought back the multiverse and a robust 52 Earths. And then when that cycle was a bit tapped out, they began the Flashpoint in creating a variation on the theme of the multiverse, wherein you have like this, our Earth 1 now becomes Earth 0 or Zero Earth, and new stories can it's quite akin to like old gods and goddesses in mythology, dying in rebirth, so new generations are always retelling the story, and we get the same here, don't we, in some kind of way. So it's been today and the golden age of DC Comics 365. We're going to talk about comic books every day for the rest of the year. So tune in tomorrow, 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern, when we turn the page and find out who and what we're talking about in comic books. I love talking about comic books. I hope you do too. So tune in tomorrow, and thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate you, and like and subscribe if you can. I would love to be part of your YouTube day. I make daily content talking about comic books for the rest of the year, so tune in. You want some comic shop talk like we used to? You tune in here and leave a comment, leave a question. I would love for you to be part of the conversation. So yeah, give me a thumbs up if you like this material. Give me a thumbs down if you didn't. I'm a big lad. I can handle it. We're going to be eventually talking about problematic things, racist stereotypes, and antediluvian mores of this era and of this type of publication, that we will run across it when we're going to go through it together. And I'm just letting you know, it's part of the caveat. Please don't burn your hands holding on to my hot takes. If you do, that's on you, pal. But also, we will be confronting the past. We're not going to run from it. We're going to go right through it, and we're going to go through it together. So hopefully I earn your subscription someday. I'm an amateur theologian. I'm an ordained minister. We get spiritual, and we often do. And I'm a professional chef. I share with you restaurant-level cooking hacks so you can make nutritious, delicious, and beautiful food for your loved ones at your table when you break bread. Thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate you, and God bless, good luck, and Excelsior, okay? Cheers.